Today we're making the crossover waist bike shorts. I have my 2 leg pieces here, the gusset, the back waistband piece, and the 2 front waistband pieces as well. Step number 1, with your gusset, you're going to place the arrow towards the top and clip it to the center back seam. If you ever get confused about which is front and back, the front is much smaller and the back is much larger. So I'm going to clip it here. And I'm going to just sew this section. This is what that will look like. We need to open this up, take the other shorts piece, we're going to line it up, we're going to clip from the edge of the gusset all the way to the top as well as the front crotch. Now we're going to sew along these 2 edges here. So when you sew this section, you want to keep your existing seam to the outside so that it stays nice and flat, and I'll show you what that looks like. That's all done, and for the gusset piece, this is what it will look like. So trying to keep it as flat as possible when you're sewing it. Now we're going to open the pants up like this, and you can see it taking shape now. So we're going to clip the front center seam to the middle of the gusset, and then we're going to pin the legs. And we're going to sew along this seam, keeping these 2 seams flat facing out. So you're going to want to hold it when you are sewing it. Something to note here is I use an overlocker or a serger as standard, but if you don't have one of those, just use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. So as well as this, I'm going to do the waistband as well. So this is the back, so the points here is what's going to be sort of facing your bum cheeks really. And then we have the 2 front pieces, so we want to place them right sides together and pin the side seams here. Obviously it's hard to see what is the right side on my plain blue fabric, but if you had printed fabric, for example, you just put, the printed sides together. Great, so I'm going to sew these 2 side seams here, and I'm going to sew the legs on the shorts as well. I've finished these seams, now we're going to do the waistband. We're going to fold it in half, wrong sides together, so we have the correct side facing out. I'm going to place some clips just so it's a little bit easier to handle. So we want to keep it really, really flat at this stage. Now we want to take one side, place it down like this so that the points are matching up, same with this side. And we are going to line up these points and place a clip there. And then line up this seam, place a clip there as well, as accurate as possible. Same with this side. So in the end, you should be having a very clear view of your waistband right now. So this is the back shape. The front shape is very much crossed over. You should be able to see that quite clearly. Now we take the pants. We want to turn them the right way around. And we want to have the front facing up. So you know it's the front because that's where the flat side of the gusset is. The back is the point of the gusset. So we want to have the front facing up. We're going to take our waistband. So you want to place the waistband here with the point facing up. And we are going to place the shorts on the inside of the waistband. Like so, and you're going to take the front center seam, clip it to the front point, and we're going to take the back center seam and clip it to the back point. And then you're going to fold it out like this, and you're going to clip all the way along the waistband. So you'll notice that the waistband is just slightly smaller than the shorts. This has been done on purpose to create a nice snug fit. So you will need to stretch the waistband just a little bit as you're pinning and sewing. Okay, so that is all clipped. If you would like to have a quick check, you can pull the waistband the right way around. Just make sure you've got the front attached to the front, etc. This all looks good, so I'm going to place it back. Now what I find easier is to turn the whole thing the other way around, because it is much easier to sew with the shorts piece on the top. Now this part is where it gets a little bit tricky. What you're going to do is take this is the front, so the point of the front and the front center seam, and we are going to clip it so it's flat in the direction that you will sew. This will make more sense by the time you do watch this whole step. And then what you're going to do is you're going to sew from here all the way to the back point, which is here. So you're just going to sew half of the waistband, and you just want to keep this flat to stop any folds and any bubbling in the center front and center back points. If you like, this is where you can add an extra pin to stop it from moving around, because you can see we have this like little bit of excess fabric here. So that is nice and flat. I'll sew that, and then it will make a little bit more sense when I show you the next step as well. So half of the waistband has been done. I'm just going to take this pin out. Now what we need to do is follow the same step, but for this second part here. So we need to make sure this section is flat, and that involves moving the fabric over and placing an extra clip here, so that we're going to sew from this center back seam, and everything is really nice and flat, and we're not going to have any folds or bubbles. And we're going to sew all the way around and end on this section, also keeping it flat. So what I'm going to do is place an extra pin here, just keeping all of the fabric in place, because you can see there is excess because of the point, because of how it's designed. But by adding this pin here, I am keeping it flat right until the center front seam. So we're going to sew from the center back seam all the way to the center front seam, and then tie off the excess threads. So I've finished sewing the second half of the waistband. We're going to turn it the right way around. And this is what it will look like. And then the last step is to fold in the bottom of the shorts 1.5 centimeters. Clip it all the way around and finish with a zigzag stitch. So I'll show you what that looks like. And now you're finished. So I hemmed the bottom of the shorts here, and then I also went through and trimmed the excess just to keep it nice and neat. And you're all done.